So yesterday we got the announcement of Dereck Chisora versus Joseph Parker. Now this morning I made a video kind of giving my thoughts on that fight and on the card as well. And just basically kind of saying how I feel about the fight and, I think it's a decent fight, stuff like that, etc, etc, etc. So I go onto Twitter and I go onto Michael Benson's Twitter page and Dereck Chisora, he's quoting Dereck Chisora here, basically what Dereck Chisora had to say about the Parker fight. And really Dereck Chisora kind of going in and giving his stance on how he feels about Joseph Parker and stating that he only felt that he gave out 30% in that Spilka fight and that Joseph Parker is in trouble. But listen, I'm going to read to you now what Dereck Chisora said and just try and see if you can spot the elephant in the room here. So, Dereck Chisora says, Parker, the Aussie kangaroo, fled for the bush once already. Spilka felt what War Chisora is all about. That was just 30% of what I got for that Aussie bum. I'm going to knock Parker's Dingo A out. I think we know what that is. And send the Aussie chump back to the other side of the planet. Okay, now that's what Dereck Chisora had to say about Joseph Parker. And, obviously, the odd bit out is that Chisora is calling Joseph Parker an Aussie when we all know Joseph Parker's from New Zealand. He's a Kiwi. He's not an Aussie. Dereck Chisora, he's really not too bright. Dereck Chisora, it's funny because some of the things he's come out with over the years, some of them have just been so brilliantly silly. They really have. Dereck Chisora, they glassed me, who is the donkey now, stuff like that. He is a gift, Dereck Chisora. And sometimes it's the fact he doesn't even mean to be funny. Sometimes he's serious and he just comes across and says things like this. You just can't help but giggle and have a laugh at it. Obviously, we all know that Joseph Parker is from New Zealand, although they're, not a million miles away, Australia and New Zealand. They are two different countries. It's like going to someone from Ireland and saying, oh, you're British. That is an insult for anyone who knows. If you ever go to an Irish person and say, oh, you're British, they will not take that kindly. All right? Because that's happened to me and it's happened to others. They will not take kindly to that. I don't know if it's the same in Australia and New Zealand, but I would imagine something similar. I don't know. Thoughts on what Dereck Chisora had to say there about Parker running away from the fight once. Now, I do remember that this fight, when it was originally getting talked about, I think it was being talked about to happen in April, if I'm not mistaken. And I actually do think it was Joseph Parker who said that he'll take the Chisora fight, but not then, because he wouldn't have sufficient enough time to prepare. Now, I remember Dereck Chisora gave an interview about that and was, not too happy, we'll say, about that. And he said some words about Parker, called him a you-know-what. And, I think he's right there in a sense that I think Joseph Parker, at one stage, he did say that he would take the fight, but just not at that time because he just didn't have enough time to prepare. In terms of the Spilka fight, whether that was Chisora at 30%, I don't know. Spilka, he really is, at this stage in his career, he's seen better days. That was not he might have been damaged goods after the Wilder fight, to be fair, because that Wilder fight, although he didn't take a beating, he took one of the most brutal one-punch knockouts you'll ever see, likely. And that could have messed up his punch resistance for good. He never had an iron chin to begin with, Spilka, but taking a shot like that, it's not going to help your punch resistance, to be fair. So I think that might be a reason why Spilka is the way he is now, and the fact that he's just so chinny and he's really got nothing left. I think that didn't help. But Dereck Chisora, was a him at 30%. I think a below par Chisora would have beat Spilka on that night, to be fair. So it's hard to know. In terms of his fight with Parker, I said it in my video earlier and I'll say it again now. I think it's a competitive fight. I would expect Parker to win it on points, but I definitely wouldn't rule out a Chisora win. I wouldn't rule it out, but it depends really on how Parker approaches the fight. If he lets Chisora just bully him and kind of rough him up like what Dillian Whyte did, then yeah, I think Parker could be in for a rough night. If he just uses his speed and doesn't let Chisora try and rough him up and tries to, take the bull by the horn, I think Parker wins it on points. That's my thoughts on this. It's just a nice little interesting video. I thought I'd report on what Dereck Chisora said and, point out, where he's gone wrong. Parker is not from Australia. He's from New Zealand. So just letting that out there. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe for new. And as always, I will talk to you after.